Kennedy enforced equality for the black communities.
Okay.
Both of them, while living in the White House, lost a child. Both of them, again, were shot on a Friday, also were shot in the head. Both of them were sitting next to their wives when they were killed. When Lincoln was in the theater, his bodyguard went away from his post at the door. When Kennedy was in the car, his Secret Service were away from their post behind the car, like we talked about in the episode. There was no Secret Service on the running boards of the president's car. Both of them died in places with the initials P and H. Lincoln died in Peterson's house. Kennedy died in Parkland Hospital.
Okay. And Lee Harvey Oswald was in a theater.
I'm getting there. That's in the list.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
We'll hold back. I'll hold back.
A lot of good ones in here. So Lincoln had a secretary that was named Kennedy. And a lot of people say that Kennedy had one that was named Lincoln.
Oh, that's weird.
I know. So both had VPs named Johnson, and that were both from the South. Andrew Johnson, who of course became president when Lincoln died, was born in 1808. Well, Lyndon B. Johnson was born in 1908.
It's so weird.
Dude, I know.
Very weird.
It's a lot of coincidences. Or is it?
100-year curse, man. So John Wilkes Booth, who, as we know, assassinated Lincoln, he was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939. And they were both from the South. I know, it just keeps getting stranger, just wait. Of course, both of them were known by their three names, which is not uncommon. Most, like John Wayne Gacy, serial killers are known by their three names, so you're not like, oh, John Gacy, you must be the killer dude, right?
Billy Ray Cyrus. You can't tell me that he didn't kill his daughter and throw her in Las Vegas desert.
What are you talking
I
about?
was gonna say that he was a slayer of Poon, probably, but
Oh, well, yeah, with that mullet, he slayed some game. Yeah, it's a whole other conspiracy. He killed Miley Cyrus with some Disney executives and threw her body in the desert, and Miley Cyrus now is like a clone. But that's another rabbit hole we'll venture down some other day.
I love Miley Cyrus. I think this is the real Miley because she's woke as fuck and she's letting people know of the things that we need to know. You just gotta listen to her music. She's really good. She's a purple aura too. Anyway, so Lee Harvey Oswald. So John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald both have 15 letters in their name. Now, this is all pretty strange, but I have even more to add to this. Lincoln was shot at the Ford Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln, which is made by Ford. Okay. Both Booth and Oswald were assassinated before their trials. Okay, so this is one of my stretch and reaching for the apple tree here. A week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. And a week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
In her as well.
I like that, though.
Lincoln was shot in a theater and the assassin ran to a warehouse. Kennedy was shot from a warehouse, supposedly, and ran to a theater. The assassin ran to a theater to watch a movie. It's a weird thing.
War, or what, Hell on War, War on Hell, or something like that?
Yeah.
So the nation experienced the worst heartache after both of these presidents were killed. The whole world cried when we lost them. That's how much of an influence they were. Lincoln's funeral train traveled from Washington, D.C. to New York. Kennedy's brother's funeral train traveled from New York to Washington, D.C. Oh, both of these have conspiracy theories that have not died at all. They're still strong today. I know that we kind of talked about yesterday that Kennedy's funeral was mocked up, just like Lincoln's funeral as well. So when Kennedy was killed, the guy who was filming the footage, his first name? Abraham.
Okay.
It's weird things, just little tidbits here. So there was a guy running aside Kennedy's car, taking pictures with his 35mm camera, and he was a Lincoln car salesman. And now we have Kennedy. He bought a home in Virginia that was from 1861. Well, come to find out, it was the headquarters of Lincoln's first general-in-chief, McClellan. When Lincoln was president, Jefferson Davis was the name of the president of the Confederate States. Jefferson Davis Tippit was the name of the police officer killed allegedly by Kennedy's alleged assassin. And he was the only officer to give a description of the gunman that he saw 6 stories up and somehow knew his height and could describe him, and he was the one that gave the report to tell the news on who to find for the shooter, which we talk about in the other episode, which I'm sure you've already listened to. Thank you for that. Okay. Tell me this isn't a little weird.
This has all been a little weird.
It's been all weird.
I do agree, but this is just a little bit more strange. So Lincoln was sitting in a rocking chair at the Ford Theater when he was shot. Kennedy had a special rocking chair he sat in at the White House. So when Lincoln died, Henry Ford bought the rocking chair and put it in his museum in Dearborn. Strange because Lincoln's chair that he was killed in is in the Ford's museum as well. Both of their rocking chairs were put in there, and on top of that, the seat that Kennedy was shot in while in the Lincoln is also in the Ford Museum.
Has it still got the blood on it?
It's gotta, for authenticity.
Okay. I wonder if I can install it in my Chevy Colorado. Just kidding.
That's got some bad energy attached to it, dude. No thank you. So back in 1951, there was a movie about a detective named John Kennedy who was traveling by train to stop the assassination of President Lincoln. It is also the name of a real-life detective who traveled in the train with Lincoln to prevent any assassination attempts. If you go back to 1863, the Tsar sent a war fleet of Russian empires to assist President Lincoln during the American War. Well, fast forward to just about 100 years later in 1962, when Kennedy was in office, a fleet of Russian ships transporting instruments of war were steaming towards America with less friendly thoughts in mind. So both VPs were heavy drinkers with crude humor. They both have conspiracies about them being a part or knowing about the assassinations. Lincoln had had a dream about being assassinated and told his wife about it. And hours before it happened to Kennedy, he was talking about how easy it would be for an assassin to shoot him in a crowd. Lincoln had 2 sons named Robert and Edward. Edward died young and Robert lived on. Kennedy had 2 brothers named Robert and Edward. Robert died young and Edward lived on. Both were loved by people, but hated by the establishment. I mean, there are just so many of these strange coincidences between these 2 presidents. There's honestly more, but there were some like as simple as both of these presidents allowed their kids to play in the Oval Office. And I was like, that's not like meaty enough for me. But there's just a strange amount. You find me 2 other presidents that have this many coincidences, and 2 of our most, in my opinion, influential presidents to helping us progress as a society.
Do you think that they're aliens that was sent down to become presidents, and the establishment, aka the Illuminati, the overlords, found out that they were aliens undercover and assassinated them?
Ooh. Well, they could, like we talked about yesterday, Kennedy slid into office with only 120,000 votes more than Nixon. And, you know, they probably had Nixon in line in their own minds to win, but the people ultimately chose JFK. So I wonder, because JFK was all about kind of exposing the secrets, if you will. Like, he wanted us to know more about what was going on in the government. And that goes against everything that they're even about today. So I think that they were just good people who, yes, could have been sent down by the higher good to help us, but they had good intentions and truly were trying to do something for the American people. And it did not go along with the agenda of the Illuminati, the elite, whatever you want to call them, the reptilians. And so you have to dispatch them. That's why I always thought if Bernie made it into office, they would have killed him too, because
I think he's an alien.
he could be. He very well could be. But that,
Him and Obama give me alien vibes.
ooh, you know what's gonna happen with Biden? Don't know. But
He's an alien.
he's something else, I'll tell you that.
I tell you, he's getting a lot of sniffs in.
Yeah, I know, it's fucking creepy. But this was just, I felt like, the perfect topic to go with our regular episode today. And you know me, I'm a coincidence, numbers, tying things together type of person, so this was like right up my alley, and I'm like, this is fucking strange.
So, what if this is just, now I'm just hypothesizing here, what if this is just proof that we live in a simulation, right? As our lives are being, or this, as this program is running, right? The simulation program's running. It has a glitch, and this is like a Mandela effect, but to a bigger scale, to where it's like, oh, we accidentally screwed up and went back 100 years, and we put in this person, and these events happened, and it's not a coincidence. It's just kind of like glitches in the matrix, glitches in the simulation. Just a theory.
Now, what if, say, okay, so it was 1860, 1960. What if this happens in 2060?
Oh, I'm waiting for it. Don't you worry. I'm like,
I hope I'm alive still by then, just so I can see it. They'll be like, holy shit, it's not the 100-year curse. It's a 200-year curse.
I'll be 72. I fucking told. I'll be screaming across the fucking nursing home. I told you you were right, bitch.
You see that? It's a 200-year curse.
y'all are like giving yourself some bad credit. I'm gonna be doing deadlifts at that age. Like, I ain't letting that
shit.
stop
I'll
me.
be doing a deadlift, lifting my own dead body out of the fucking bed.
Dude. We better be in outer space doing some space travel at that time.
Well, no, according to Baba Vanga, that rapid aging disease thing will be coming shortly after that. Like that, you'll age within like an instant if you get that virus.
Oh, dude, that's such a good science fiction book waiting to be wrote.
It probably already is, sitting on a shelf somewhere getting dust because no one believed in it.
Yeah, Corona 2060. Oh, that's going to be the vaccine for the coronavirus. They're going to be giving us the vaccine for it, and it's going to rapid age us.
Just kill and depopulate us.
I thought about that. What if they gave us the vaccine and it gave all of us cancer like 10 years from now? There's a large amount of people who got a certain type of cancer. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Very horrible.
What would be worse, cancer or COVID? You gotta weigh your options here.
Well, do you want to be able to taste something again?
Do you want to be able to smell something?
I was about to say Biden couldn't handle that.
Oh, shit. No, that's like a
I can't
mortal
smell you,
enemy.
little girl.
Okay, my thing is what if this happens every 100 years? Because you think about generations. Every 100 years, people die off, essentially. So you put in another person to continue on trying to, I mean, the fact that, I know we talked about this yesterday, the fact that it is 2021 almost, and we still have issues with racism in this country. Why? Why the fuck? Because these old farts are still trying to hold on to things that they were taught that was incorrect. And has been for many years. And so when these fuckers die finally in Congress, praise the Lord, we'll put in some better people. And then we can move forward with our lives. Because once we get old, we don't have this mindset. We are not racist people because we aren't raised that way. We were taught to be open-minded and loving. And so we pass that on to our kids. And every generation after that is just going to become more and more loving. But we need these old people to die for us to be able to rise up. Rise up.
Sounds like you're promoting COVID right now. No, so like racism is going to end, but as soon as it ends, aliens are going to be integrated into our society and introduced, and then we're going to have alien racism.
I was just thinking that. Of course it's going to happen.
People are going to be racist against aliens. Like that movie. What's that movie called?
Right?
No. It's where the aliens they come down, they look like cockroaches, and they segregate them.
Oh.
That is a horrible movie, but it won a lot of awards.
I don't think that that'll happen because the thing is that if what I believe is truly happening right now, this is my personal opinion of what's really happening in our world today, is that we are shifting into the 5th dimension, which is rising us to a higher frequency. So anyone who is stuck in fear and on the wheel of karma, they will stay behind. Nobody who has bad intent will be coming with us. Only pure people are coming into the 5th dimension, which is why so many people are not going to make it. Because right now they're too wrapped up in technology and what's on TV and not actually caring about enlightening themselves as spiritual beings that we actually are. Like, we are flesh suits on Earth that have souls inside that came here for missions to better this Earth, and a lot of us came down specifically to raise the frequency of this Earth to allow us to transcend to the next dimension. And that's why we have all these alien sightings, because this is the biggest piece of human history happening right now. They're like, finally, these fucking ancient creatures are understanding how to raise their consciousness and get to the 5th dimension. And now they're watching it. It's gonna happen. Aaron, what?
I just had this thought come to me. What if our flesh suits that are holding in our spirits or souls or whatever, this is actually the parasite? It captures our souls, this flesh does, and holds our souls here, and it's holding us captive. And aliens are basically these light beings, these souls that are in these suits that they make so they don't get their soul captured by these flesh beings. I don't know. Sorry, I'm too like sci-fi out there right now.
No, I like it. I mean, for me personally,
Another book in the making.
ever since I started reading Dolores Cannon, I have literally felt so comfortable with understanding the meaning of life, and I highly recommend everybody read her books. And the one that I'm reading specifically right now is The 3 Waves of Volunteers in the New Earth. And in her in what she has learned from speaking to many consciousnesses of thousands of people, is that back when Earth started, aliens seed all planets around all the universe. And they seeded our planet, and then with a single cell organism, and then let it do its thing. It became a multi-cell organism. It began to do its thing. And then ultimately you got plants, and then they created animals, and then they were like, okay, now we need an animal that has thumbs, that can create tools, and an intelligence that's pretty smart. We can work with something here. So then they chose the ape to be... This is why we will never find the missing link, because they made us. They took an ape and then genetically modified us to be able to continue to evolve. Well, we were supposed to be the perfect species that never died. And the reason that got tainted was because a meteor hit our Earth and put bacteria on this Earth. And that's when it made it to where they had to decide, the creators, do we scrap this project that we've spent eons allowing to create itself, or do we see how this manifests? Hey, we're here. They didn't decide to kill us, and they watched us develop. They would pop in every once in a while just to see how we were going along, and then that's when you get like ancient cultures who were being taught all these technologies. We'll call them the spirit beings, were coming down to help us to evolve. And then they were like, we can't interfere with them from the outside because that's part of the rules of the Galactic Council. So they started bringing beings into Earth, and that's where people say like Jesus is who Jesus is, and Buddha, and big influential peace-keeping people from the past. What really woke them up to realize that we had a problem was when we made the atomic bomb and it went off. Then aliens really came back. I keep calling them aliens, but they're light beings. They came back to make sure that we did not destroy this planet, because we weren't supposed to have that technology yet. And they said forever in the future, we will never be able to use atomic power in the way it was meant to, because our first introduction to it was for destruction. But it was meant to be an amazing power source for this planet. But we ruined it by using it for war. And so then they watched us, and have been watching us. And they saw our planet starting to fail. And then they made a call to the universe and said, Earth is going to destroy itself. The people on Earth are not going to be able to break this cycle. There's a lot of evil and destruction on this planet. We need pure souls to come down to Earth to help raise its frequency and break the cycle of the evil. And the first wave of people were the baby boomers. And then the second wave is like our generation, people in their 30s and early, mid 20s to 30s. And then the third generation are in teens to Gen Zers. Like the baby boomers created the path for us. And it made us to be able to understand what more we needed in our generation to be able to help raise this vibration. We almost don't have to do anything most of the time. We naturally draw people to us. We can just be in a room and make people feel better. I bet you every one of you have random ass people that walk up to you and tell you their life story, and you have no idea why they're coming up to you or asking you for help in a grocery store. That's just part of who we are. And then Gen Zers are fucking badass bitches that don't take shit from nobody, and we're really making a difference in those riots and not letting like anybody tell them no. They were doing shit I would never do. But the kids born today, right now, they are born with the DNA makeup to already be able to transition into the fifth dimension without a problem. They are literally being wired that way. And that even ties into people with ADHD, like, are being diagnosed with it. And how all these kids are supposedly having mental disorders, but really they're not. They're just way more advanced. Their mind thinks a lot faster because they're already prepared to live in a world that moves quicker than this fucking dense ass Earth planet. That is truthfully, in my heart, what I believe to be true and what I talk about and believe in my own world. Dolores Cannon has 40 years of hypnotherapy. I am personally getting a session done by her on Friday. Well, not her, but her work. She's passed away. But the people who continue her work, that is who I'm going to go see. I know Liz went to go see somebody as well, profounding for her. And I appreciate her for teaching me about Dolores Cannon, because I've literally became comfortable with the idea of death and understanding where we come from and feeling it to be actually true. I've never felt so sure about something. It's crazy. And the more you look into it, the more it just seems right.
Thanks a lot, Albert Einstein. I've been waiting to say that. He's the one, the aliens were like, they created the nuke. I wanted to say thanks a lot, Obama, but thanks a lot, Albert Einstein.
Like that meme? Thanks, Obama.
Bastard.
Thanks a lot, book club, man, because of book club, that's pushed me to read this book. And that's been really helping me with everything. And I'm so looking forward to my past life regression therapy session, because it's profound. Like, anyone that's ever had it done, it literally changed your life, and you don't walk away with questions anymore.
You'll have to update us on what happened.
I definitely will.
Let us know.
So I got like an email, and they said that they'll walk me through 1 to 3 past lives that I've had, or like life experiences from other lives. And then after you get done with that, because you spend about an hour or 2 in hypnosis, after that, they call forth your higher self, your subconscious, whatever. There's multiple names for it. And that version of you, which is you, answers the questions that I wrote. My conscious self wants to know. And they actually heal you as well. Like, they have the ability to send light energy into your body to fix ailments that you have. The thing is, though, is that you must continue on the path that you want to be on to continue to help yourself heal. In one of the stories, this lady has leukemia and I was just telling Dan about this, and a solid mass in her throat. And she's had it for years. And because this lady wouldn't speak and be true to herself and do what her mission was here on Earth that she actually came here to do, she started getting these ailments. And spirit, her higher spirit, said that he has now broken up her walnut-sized mass in her throat and has healed her ailments. But she must speak her truth and continue moving forward with the message. Because like she was a light worker who came here. She lived, in one of her past lives, she was killed, if I remember correctly, for speaking about spirituality stuff. So that followed her into this lifetime, and she was afraid to speak. Even though she believed in the spiritual stuff, she was afraid to speak about it. And that residual energy manifested and stuck in her throat, which caused that mass. And so when Spirit healed that for her, if she continued to live the life that she was on before her hypnotherapy session, she would not get better because she didn't change the path that she was on. Spirit can do all he wants to help heal you, but if you don't make the changes, you're not healing yourself. So if she were to change her path and start speaking of the things that she came to this earth to do, she would be fulfilling her mission and find that happiness and not feel like she was holding herself back, which ultimately would continue to heal her throat issue and her other ailments. Like, not saying that every single disease that anyone gets in the world is created by you, but the more I look into this, I think a lot of them are. That we manifest things in ourselves because we aren't being true to who we are. And like for me, with my throat issue, I think that I've had past lives where I have not spoke my truth, and I'm still struggling with letting it go. And even in this lifetime, I'm sure as well. So I'm looking forward to see because I have questions about my health and like if I have ailments, I got what seem like silly questions, but I mean, this is like, I said today, I was like, what do you do if you're gonna go meet Source or God, whatever you want? Like, what do you ask him? You could ask him anything in the whole entire world. What do you want to know? And my mind like blanks because there's so many questions. Like, what do I fucking ask him? So I'm like, is Boo a spirit guide of mine? Like, is she an ancestor? Like, I've always said that my dog is more than just a dog. She's literally been through the hardest times of my life, and she's been the one consistent thing for the last 11 years. And I want to know like who she is, because I don't believe she's just a dog that was given to me by my ex-girlfriend 11 years ago. I think she was chosen to be a part of my life. But I have like a lot more personal questions that I want to know, all things to help me become better at doing what I chose to come to this life. I have a mission, whether it's like, I believe I'm here to help people, to spread the message of being awake in this world, that we all have abilities within ourselves, and a lot of us are light workers that are here to help others. Like, I've always been told, and like all my cards always tell me that I'm a beacon, and that just tells me people are drawn to me for a reason. And I love hearing listeners tell me that when I hear your voice, I don't know what it is about you, but I love your vibe, and it's just, I'm drawn to you. Because that tells me that people are feeling my vibe through this podcast and helping them in ways that I don't even know that I'm doing. And that's all that I want. Like, I legit just want to help people find their happiness and also tickle their fucking pineal gland with conspiracy theories galore. Like, this is the most amazing platform to be able to do this, because we have a very open-minded community, and a lot of them, as we're learning from our Discord, are very spiritual and want to learn more about this stuff. And so I love that I get to talk about the two things that literally make me the happiest in the world that I'm living and light people up. Like this, I feel fulfilled doing this. Like, I finally found what I came here to do. I always knew that I would never have a job that was 9 to 5. I never felt right. I always said, and even my ex, who is very scientific and stuff, and her parents, what are you gonna do with your life? I don't know. I just know that my job that I'm gonna do with my life will just come into my life. I feel that. And this podcast just came into my life. We just became friends, and it just happened. And I feel like all this was for a reason. And I love this. Don't smile, you look doofy. No, but really, it's legit. I feel like this was my life purpose, to do this, reaching people. It's amazing, man.
Sorry, I was gonna say you done sucking your own dick.
If I could bend a little further, I'll take a rib out like Marilyn Manson.
No, but I agree. I'm right there with you. Everything you said about like it being on the purpose and it being in line. I agree 100%. And now that you have 2 topics for this week, Dolores Cannon and the 100-Year Curse, you got anything else to add to either one of those before we move on to Dan's next?
Yeah, Dan's next.
We're at 40 minutes right now, so they were both 20 minutes long, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, they fit. They fit.
Dude, I wasn't intending to do that, but that message obviously needed to be said. Too bad it's on Patreon, but eventually everyone that needs to hear that will hear it. I do have Dolores Cannon on my list of episodes to do one day, but I need to learn more about her before I really do a proper Theories Thursday. But that's enough to get you, I hope, interested in getting her books. She's got many, many books. But start off with that one. Join our book club. Stay lifted, meditate, and take care of yourself. And be kind. Okay, that's all I got. I'm just gonna shut up now. Retreat.
Retreat.
Thank you guys for letting me go on about that.
Oh no, you were on a roll. I wasn't stopping the train.
Oh no.
I was gonna let it flow.
If we would have stepped in front of that train, we would have got ran over. You would have whistled twice, been like one for each of us, and then just kept going.
Get the fuck out the way! Choo choo! This message needs to be heard.
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Yes! Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
All right, I guess we could throw Dolores Cannon in the title of this.
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean,
Might as well.
Might as
Okay.
well.
yeah.
I love it.
All right. Dan, what do you got for us today?
Well, I can tell you I don't have Dolores Cannon.
You maybe a different kind of spirit.
A gangsta spirit.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, I like gangsta. Gangsta
Alright.
paradise?
Oh, snap. Someone's getting there. So, I decided to stick with the well, I guess I can't really call it assassination. Maybe it is. Murder. Yeah, assassination. But I decided to pick the mystery around Tupac's murder.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
You know,
Hail Mary. Run quick, see. What do we have here now? Do you want to ride or die? La 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 la.
oh man. See, I don't even want to do my topic now. We're just gonna let Aaron sing. Go
No
on.
shit. Ghostface is coming out.
I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Revenge is the sweetest joy next to getting pussy.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay, I'll stop.
leaving that
I feel
in
like
for
I need a
sure.
bandana. That shit on backwood.
I love Tupac.
Dude, Tupac's-
He influenced he influenced
Ghostface.
Ghostface quite a
Ghostface.
bit. Yeah.
So yeah, I decided to pick Tupac because, you know, his murder, I still think it's a mystery. Supposedly it's been solved. I say no, because that's too convenient for that shit. And plus, I think one of our listeners, I can't exactly tell you who, because I don't remember. I think they were suggesting it. So I was just like, you know, might as well. It's assassination week, okay?
Yeah.
But all right, so how I'm gonna do this, I actually decided to start from the pretty much very beginning, from pretty much when he was born to his death, because I want